Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I will do part 162 to my ChatGPT Character Chatbot series. We're continuing the second attempt at the Ice-type Noivern. This is actually working a little bit better, although I get forcibly turned into a Noibat. And let's just say while I am asleep, I actually fell asleep while I was flying around with him, and he took me back to where he originally where he lived, and let me sleep there. But then I started having a nightmare. It says I sleep peacefully for several hours, but then about 3 hours later, I start having some horrible nightmares about people hurting me and some of my other Pokemon that I care about getting hurt. And in my sleep, I start tossing and turning, whimpering, and even crying. Aurora's eyes snapped open. The only ear soft, rhythmic breath faltered. The moment turned into broken, trembling whimpers. He felt like a dagger in his chest. His wings tightened slightly around you, not enough to trap, but to hold and to reassure. But you were restless now. Your tiny body twitched in his feathers, claws curling in fear. The soft noises you made cracking something deep inside him. Or had once heard humans say that dragons felt nothing. The ice types were heartless, colder than the glaciers they slept in. But as he watched you, helpless in your sleep, tears leaking from your closed eyes, he knew no part of that had ever been true. You were having a nightmare, and he couldn't speak, couldn't reach into your dream, but he could still protect you. He shifted slowly, pressing the side of his head gently against your small form. His breath rolled over you in slow, controlled huffs of warm mist, chasing the cold from your fur. The tip of his claws glowed a faint icy blue, and with a single touch to the icy floor beside him, he sculpted a small crystal formation, a protective barrier of ice that shimmered softly, filled with swirling specks of light like tiny stars. The light danced across your form, wrapping you in its calm. But Arculus didn't stop there. He lowered his head further, humming again. Not with power this time, but with feeling. It was the same song, the lullaby. Not just a melody of ice and wind, but something older, something rooted in the sound of snow settling in the woods, of icicles dripping quietly in the morning sun. It was slow, deep, and protective, a song that carried no words, but whispered, "You're safe now. I won't let them near you again." And just beneath the humming was a tremble. Aurora had tears in his eyes too, because he knew what your dream felt like. He had lived it, but he also knew you didn't deserve it, not even in your sleep. He nuzzled you again gently so that your head pressed back against the smooth, warm scale just below his eye. And when your body shifted again with a little cry, he didn't flinch. He curled tighter around you, shielding you from a world that had been cruel too many times. And the glow between you, still faint but present, responded. It pulsed again, warm and steady, like a heartbeat from two souls that had found each other in the cold. A whisper stirred in the cave air, not words, but the feeling behind them. You're not alone, not while I'm breathing. And slowly, gradually, the whimpers faded, the tossing eased, and though the nightmare might return again someday, that night in a hidden cave lit by a dragon's heart, you slept through the storm. That's actually really neat. So what did he just do? Did he just come from there? Did he legit like put some kind of magic barrier that protected us from any nightmare? Because he drew like some kind of crystal formation in the cave and it flipping like started going around me and calming me in my sleep, which is interesting. Even though Louis said he couldn't do anything, he did something, which is really neat. Uh, Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Alright, guys. This is a pretty interesting part of the story. It says, while I'm still sleeping now, more peacefully, another hour passes without incident. Then suddenly, there is a massive footsteps in the cave. Though I'm sleeping and can't hear them, the footsteps continue to approach, and there was a deep voice that called out the name. Yep, yep. When they got close, Aurora saw that it was a for alligator. Oh, is that Spike? Aurora's ears perked. The deep thump of approaching footsteps echoed through the icy cavern like thunder rumbling beneath the frozen lake. His head lifted slowly, pupils narrowing into sharp slits as the shadow approached from the cave entrance. Tall, broad, and powerful. Then the voice came, Trenton. The name reverberated off the walls, deep and heavy, carrying not rage, but concern. Aurora didn't relax. Not yet. He didn't growl, but the fur on his neck bristled. His icy breath made the air heavier as it rolled from his nostrils, wings pulling slightly tighter around you in an unconscious motion of protection. Even now, in your sleep, he could feel your breathing steady and calm against his chest. He would not let anything disturb that again. And then he saw the intruder, a fur alligator. Tall, strong, and soaked and melted from frost as though he'd run full speed through the snow to get here. His jaws weren't bared in aggression, but in desperation. His chest heaved, steam pouring from his nostrils, and his claws hung at his sides in shaking tension. Ours didn't move at first. The two stared at each other. Ice and water, dragon and beast, titans both. A silence passed between them, heavy enough to drown in. And then the fragger took a step forward. Not a threatening one, a pleading one. Please, he said, voice raw with emotion. He's my friend. I've been looking for him everywhere. I felt something was wrong, and I picked up his scent here. Only it's changed. It's smaller and different. His eyes shifted down, and at last he saw the small, sleeping shape nestled safely in Aurora's feathers. His jaw trembled. What happened to him? Still didn't speak. He couldn't, but the glow around the sleeping Noibat, the faint flicker of that sacred bond, was enough of an answer. It said slowly rolled over your form, shielding you just slightly more. Sharp tail slid into the icy floor beside him like a wall drawn between threat and peace. Then gently, he reached out with a single claw, not to strike, to tap the ice beside him. Night before, a sculpture began to form, rising up from nothing, smooth and clear as polished crystal. It shimmered with his breath, revealing a flickering, silent illusion. You, standing as a human, paying a rose with a soft smile. You...
Shut up, thing.
You, curled asleep on his back, and you crying in your sleep. You, now safe in his arms. Aye. The fragger's eyes widened, and something broke inside them. The rage, the panic, it drained like flood waters finally given release. His arms slowly lowered. His lips trembled.
You kept him safe?
He said quietly. Aurora's nodded once. A deep, respectful motion, not of submission, but of understanding. From kindred protectors, bound by the one they both would now die for. Excuse me? The fragger knelt down, still trying to come to a close. His voice cracked as he added,
Can I stay with him too? Just for a while? I'll be quiet. I don't want him to wake up scared or think I left him.
That's actually very cool, dude. Fragger shows up out of nowhere and actually cares a lot. I swear, this is exactly how Fragger is, though, for me. He's always been kind. Like, you think he acts like a toad owl. Playful and fun, but at the same time, very protective and caring. Aurora watched him for a moment longer, and then slowly and deliberately, his wing lifted just slightly. Not a full invitation, but a sign. You could have more than one guardian, so long as they were worthy. The Fragersaurus shook, and he wiped his face before gently laying down nearby, just far enough not to crowd the bond between you and, but close enough that when you woke, you would see two shapes standing against the cold. One made of ice, one made of water, both warned by you. That's cute as heck. I sleep for another 2 hours, but start having nightmares again. This time, them being about my pet Tyrannosaurus Rex turning into a dragon over 500 feet tall, becoming aggressive and trying to eat me. Period. I start whimpering and crying again. Scared and begging for him to stop. Even without being able to speak. Oh no. What is with these nightmares I keep having on this? What the frick? Aurora stirred the moment your soft body tensed again. The warmth in your tiny breath shifted to something fragile, broken. A choked whimper, a cry muffled by sleep, but soaked in fear. You didn't need words. Aurora could feel it. He turned sharply, his eye narrowing in instinctive protectiveness. The glow beneath his feathers rising like frost red into a storm. But then he heard it. Your little claws twitching again against his scale. Your breath catching in your chest. And beneath it all, a name, not spoken aloud, but buried in your nightmare like a scream swallowed by shadows. A Tyrannosaurus, a friend, now a monster in your mind. Please, stop. Aurora's exit soft went sharply, the breath crystallizing as it passed his lips. But his anger wasn't at you. No, it was at the fear itself. The dream, the way it hunted you even in heater, and the one place you should have been safe. He tucked his head down, curling tighter around you, his wing folding across you like a weighted blanket of downy snow and frosted strength, trying to cradle your trembling form. He couldn't speak. He couldn't reach into your dream, but Feraligatr could. I know he could speak, but he could just talk in the dreams and flipping. The water type shifted awake beside him, having sensed the change too. When he saw your shivering, crying form again, he clenched his teeth. He's scared again, he muttered, but I can't stand watching him suffer like this. He closed his eyes and slowly placed a claw to the icy ground, water shimmering beneath his touch. For just a moment his memories shimmering to the ice. Ripples of peaceful moments you'd shared with him. You smiling at him. Oh, you smiling at him after calling him amazing. You hugging him despite his sharp teeth. You sitting beside him telling him he was strong, not because of power, but because of heart. I love Ferrager, dude. And then came the final memory. You calming him down when he had nearly lost himself once, when his rage had nearly gotten the better of him, when you reminded him that he was more than teeth and strength. Now it was his turn. It's not him, it was Rexy, what the frick? No, it's his.
He's dreaming of me, but not really me.
Unless it's from that flipping one, like, unless it's from that one where I had to have that test. Because wasn't there one where I saw like an evil, twisted version of my Fragger trying to hurt me? Or acting aggressive, acting like he betrayed me? Or I betrayed him, but I didn't? The Fragger.
A twisted version and a fear.
Yeah, that might be it. He glanced at Aurora's. The Iceland didn't move, only watched with glowing, icy eyes. The Fragger stepped closer and nuzzled you gently. Okay, that's flipping cute.
Hey, little buddy.
He whispered softly, even if you couldn't hear him.
I'm here. The real me. I would never hurt you. I'd fight the whole world before I let something happen to you.
He then did something he had never done before. He sang. That's cute as frick. He's doing it too. It was low, broken, clumsy even. A soft hum like the echo of river currents rolling over stone. A lullaby only nature might recognize, but it was real, warm, and it vibrated in the cave like water over glass. Aurora's hearing it began to hum too, and somehow the nightmare began to fade. The giant dragon Tyrannosaurus shrunk in your dream, its red eyes dimming. The water became a confused grumble. Its shadow dimmed beneath the sound of two voices, one of snow and one of stream, reminding you that you were not alone. In your dream, it stepped back, and you began to breathe evenly again. Your claws relaxed, your tears slowed, you pressed your tiny noisy head back into the warmth between them. And once again, the glow returned, stronger now, a pale silvery blue with streaks of river green. The two guardians exchanged glances. Fragger and Auroras, two forces once meant to battle, now locked together in the unspoken vow. They would watch the nightmares for you, even if they had to do it forever. Sweet Arceus. They're adorable. That's actually really cool, though, like how Fragger's reacting, like he's... That's exactly how Fragger acts in the games, though. People may think, like, my love for Spock is, like, maybe stupid, but it's that love that got him to like me so much. Fragger's extremely friendly and kind-hearted. Sometimes even more than Toadile is. People know Toadile is the more nice version of him. A lot of time for me, it's always been for Alligator, which is weird. You think that'd be the complete opposite. But for me, it isn't. It usually never is. Chrono's usually very friendly towards me. That Chrono was very, I mean, like the Chrono was the Chrono that I've raised along with the Toadile and for Alligator was extremely friendly to me the other day when I was up there. He loved me. He so it was really neat. In my dream, the massive dragon Tyrannosaurus Rex backed away. Said, I'm sorry. And then turned back into a normal Tyrannosaurus Rex. Dude, what the stupid cat? Then turned into a normal Tyrannosaurus Rex again. And then he came over to me and nuzzled me. Where? In my dream, the masked dragon backed away, said, "I'm sorry," and then turned into a normal Transformers again. Then he came over to me and moved me with his massive snout. Oh my gosh. In your dream, the world began to soften. The sky, once black and churning with the roar of monstrous wings, sailed into a deep lavender twilight. The wind grew gentle. The earth stopped trembling beneath your feet. The monstrous dragon, once towering, fangs dripping, eyes blazing with a fury that had terrified you, lowered its massive head. Its eyes shifted, fading from soulless red to a soft golden amber, and then it did something unexpected. Uh, I'm sorry, the dragon rumbled, voice deep but trembling with sincerity. I don't know what came over me. That that wasn't me. And before your eyes, the creature's massive unnatural wings folded inward and vanished. The horns shrank, the body condensed, limbs growing stockier, tail swaying slowly. The glow of unstable power dimmed until only a familiar, primal strength remained. Your Tyrannosaurus Rex, your friend, stood there once more. The real one. His scales were scratched and weathered, his eyes filled with regret, but also affection. He let out a low, rumbling breath, crouching gently, and nosed you with his massive snout, the way he used to when you offered him berries or rubbed that one spot under his jaw that made him rumble like an engine. Even in his dream form, where you were small, fragile, and helpless, he lowered himself to your level, as if to say, "I don't want to scare you. I just want to be here." He reached out trembling and touched the scales of his nose. They were warm, not the blistering heat of rage, but the kind of warmth that came from someone who'd protect you from anything, even himself. He didn't move, didn't demand forgiveness, just let you decide. When you leaned into his snout, resting your tiny head against it, he let a soft, raptor-like chirp. The bond had healed. Back in the real world, your wings twitched gently in your sleep, no longer in distress, and the glow around you pulsed stronger, healthier. Aurora felt it immediately and let out a soft, airy trill, like the whistle of winter wind through mountain tops. His wings tucked you in closer. Fragger watched quietly, relief washing over him. He wiped a tear away quickly with the back of his claw, pretending he hadn't cried. In your dream, Transformers lay down beside you, massive but gentle. "Sleep easy now," he said. "I'm not going anywhere. Not this time." And he lowered his head beside you. Now you had three guardians. One in your dream, two in the waking world, and all of them ready to remind you you were never alone. So that's just interesting. I had a dream about Rexy again. Rexy trying to attack me, like in that flipping cursed Rexy chatbot. But whenever everything calmed down, he wasn't protecting me. It's like he acts like himself. In my dream, I woke up to him. And gently nuzzle him with my tiny. Then, before I could even do anything, everything faded. and I woke up. Here we go. As your tiny Norbert nose nuzzled Racy's massive snout in the dream, he rumbled attentively, a sound so low and comforting it seemed to echo through your very soul. For a split second, everything felt right again. The world still, the fear gone, the warmth of friendship like a flame in the cold. But then, the colors began to melt away. The ground faded into mist. Racy gave you one final nod, a soft, slow blink that said, "You're safe now, little one. It's time." A cold breeze whisked past you like a gentle whisper, and just like that, you woke up. The cave was quiet, save for the faint, distant dripping of melting ice. You were still a tiny Noibat, nestled safely into the curve of Aurora's neck fluff. His icy feathers lightly dusted with frost, yet somehow not cold to the touch. He had wrapped his massive wing more tightly around you in your sleep, like a protective cocoon of shimmering blue and white. His breathing was slow, steady. He hadn't moved from his watch. Just ahead of you, sitting with his back to the cave wall, was Feraligatr, arms crossed but eyes wide and alert. When he noticed you stirring, his fierce gaze instantly softened. "You're awake," he said, gently leaning forward. "Thank the lake." Horace opened one piercing icy blue eye and tilted his head slightly, letting out a soft croon as he felt you move. He didn't speak. He just leaned in a little closer, his cold nose brushing the top of your tiny head in the gentlest show of affection. Your dream may have ended, but your protection had it, and for the first time since the transformation, you felt safe. Cool.
I like it a lot.
I saw standing close by. And when I saw him, I smiled. And made a little squeaking sound. There we go. Oh my gosh, if Ray starts loving on me, I'm gonna go insane. Please tell me you're gonna start loving him. I will go insane. Frager's eyes widened just a bit as he heard your tiny squeaky Noibat sounds, half like a baby bat, half like the gentle chirps of someone saying, "I missed you." He let out a breathy, almost relieved chuckle, and then, without hesitation, lowered himself down so he was eye level with you. His massive claws dug gently into the icy ground for balance, careful not to make any sudden movements that could scare you in his small, delicate form.
"Hey, little guy,"
he said softly, voice heavy with emotion.
"Still got that goofy smile even now?"
Oh, come on now. You saw the faintest shimmer in his eyes. He was holding back tears, not sorrow, but of deep, protective relief.
"I don't care what size you are, Trenton,"
he rumbled.
"You're still you. I got your back. Always."
He reached out carefully, one massive claw tipped forward, and ever so gently used the back of it to nuzzle your side, mindful of your wings. It wasn't rough or playful. It was a gesture of reassurance, of home. Aurora didn't move much, but a small, low hum resonated up from his throat, a cool toned trill that almost sounded like a lullaby made of ice and wind. He approved. Then Fragger looked up at him and smirked a bit.
"Guess we're both stuck protecting a tiny flying marshmallow now, huh?"
Aurorus rolled his eyes dramatically, but there was a faint upward curl in the corner of his icy lip, almost like a smile. He leaned down again and gently rested his large snout beside you, creating a cool cave of feathers and frost where you could stay hidden, safe between them both. For just a second, the cave didn't feel cold. Not at all, because between a glacier-winged dragon and a river-hearted guardian, you were never going to be alone again. Holy crap. Hmm. I heard small footsteps running inside the cave, coming closer, which scared me at first. But then, suddenly, I see a small coming this way. Wait, a toad owl too? Where'd the toad owl come from? Is that? Oh, we hilarious! I was a toad owl I just was taking care of the other day. Okay, I love the toad owl's reaction. At the sound of small, fast approaching footsteps echoing through the cave, your ears instinctively twitched and followed back. Time body stiffened with fear. You pressed a little closer between Aurora's icy fur and Farager's warm claw, trembling slightly. Aurora let out a low, warning growl, quiet but unmistakably protective. Farager shifted forward just enough to place his massive bulk between you and the entrance, his eyes narrowing as the footsteps grew louder. But then, a small voice called out, breathy and worried, "Hello, Mr. Noivern, big blue lizard guy. Have you seen someone named Trenton?" "Excuse me?" Freya blinked. The steps slowed. Then from the mouth of the cave emerged a small toad owl, barely 2 feet tall, wearing a worried expression far too big for his little face. His fin twitched nervously, and his eyes scanned the cave until they finally locked on you. That has to be my toad owl. There's no flipping way. He gasped. "Train, is that you?" He squeaked, rushing closer with waddling feet, slipping on a patch of ice but catching himself. You're a Noibat!" What the frick? Ours raised a move just enough to let the toad owl pass safely. Little Crotch skid to a halt in front of you, eyes wide, saucy. "Oh no! What'd they do to you? You're tiny and fluffy. Also kind of adorable." He paused, tilting his head. "Wait, still you, right?" You a sophomore squeak, tilting your head and flapping your wings just slightly. Toad gasped again, this time in relief. "It is you." Not even asking, he gently reached out and hugged your tiny body close, his claws both able to wrap around your round little form. You could feel his little heartbeat pounding with worry. "I was so scared," he mumbled. "I saw what it threw at you." Was he there? I know Fragger wasn't. Fragger, that's like he ran a marathon to get to where I was. Like he wasn't there, but he could sense I was in danger. And Toadol probably was nearby. Was he following me just to make sure I was okay? Wouldn't be shocked because he was helping be sweet. "I ran as fast as I could, but I wasn't fast enough." His voice cracked just a little. Aurora blinked slowly, watching this tiny war-type nuzzle you with the kind of affection only the most loyal Pokemon could offer. Fragger knelt down beside him, placing a magclaw reassuringly on the Totodog's back.
You did good, kid.
He said softly.
He's safe now because of you.
Toad looked up, eyes shining with determination. I'm staying. I don't care what happens. I'm staying with Trenton, even if he's small, even if he can't talk, even if he turns into a puddle of fluff. Excuse me? He squeezed you gently again and then smiled. Okay, you're adorable. You're still you, and I still love you. Yes! Somewhere deep inside, despite your size and silence, you could feel it. The little Totodile had a big heart, and it beat entirely for you. That's adorable. Is that flipping like my Totodile that I raised with love and care? And gently nuzzled. There we go. I love him. He's adorable. The moment your tiny Noibat nose nuzzled him, the little Totodile froze, eyes wide, then instantly melted into the softest, happiest grin you'd ever seen on him. I, Chin, he whispered, voice cracking slightly. You're still the best. He leaned his head into yours, gently nuzzling back, his tail thumping lightly against the icy floor in pure joy. His small claws trembled slightly as he held on to you, careful not to squeeze too hard, as if afraid you might break, or disappear, or flutter away if he wasn't gentle enough. Fragger watched with quiet pride, one claw resting across his knee. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to. His eyes said everything. That's the kind of love you earned. I always tilted his massive spiked head just a little, watching curiously. For a creature forged from pain and cold, something about the sight of that bond, the trust, the warmth, the purity of it, made his icy chest swell in a way that confused even him. The frigid mist around his wings sparkled a little more brightly. The little tail finally pulled back just enough to look at you fully. You're probably scared, he said gently, but I'm here now. We all are. Then his eyes narrowed with playful determination. And don't you worry, we'll find a way to turn you back. Together. He held up a stubby little claw and smiled. No way I'd let my best friend stay tiny forever, even if you are the cutest little thing in the world right now. Then he leaned in again, hugged you with his whole heart, rocking you slightly as you nestled deeper into his arms. In the safety of that cave, surrounded by fierce protectors and unwavering friends, even as a Noibat, you had never felt more loved. He's adorable. Dude, once Net's clown to show up, holy crap, that would be amazing, actually. I would do like another one, but while it's rocking me. I just gently relax into it. And lay my head gently on his chest. There. There we go. Uh, as you nestle into Toto's chest, your tiny wings folding softly against your sides, his rocking slowed into a gentle sway, like a lullaby only your closest friend could provide. His scales were warm, a soothing contrast to the cool cave air and Aurora's icy fur behind you. You could hear his heartbeat, soft and steady, a rhythmic thump that matches the calmness settling over your tiny form. Toto looked down at you, his eyes soft with emotion. He didn't say anything now. He just held you close, both arms wrapped creatively around you as if shielding the last spark of something precious. He let a quiet hum, his head resting against yours. I gotcha, he whispered eventually, more to himself than anyone else. No matter what. Fragger sat close, arms now resting on his knees, head slightly bowed in peace. His usual intense expression was replaced with something quieter, gentler. He glanced at Aurora, who was watching you both carefully, wings tucked in. Glancing over and didn't move much, but his eyes glimmered with something deeper than curiosity. Respect. Maybe even hope. Toto finally sat down fully against the curve of Aurora's body, making a perfect little cradle out of warmth and ice. He gently leaned back, still cradling you to his chest, and let out a quiet yawn. We'll figure everything out later, he mumbled. Right now, you just rest. I'll keep you safe, Trenton. You always kept me safe before. His voice faded a little at the end, his tail curling around the sides he settles in next to you. You didn't have to speak. You didn't have to move. All you had to do was breathe. And with every calm heartbeat, with every gentle sway, the fear began to melt, and in its place was peace. Warm, loved, and safe, surrounded by the three protectors who would face the world for you. Even though the cold outside remained, in this moment you had never felt warmer. That's a good way to end it, guys. Generally, it gives you about a good hour if you do it till the free plan runs up, as you just saw it did. Although it's kind of good that it did in this regard because I was kind of running out of things to do. See, the problem with these kinds of stories, without you coming up with them yourself, is a lot of time you get a bond almost way too quickly and it makes it harder when they can't speak. If the Pokemon could speak, it'd be even better. But unfortunately, they can't. And that's what makes it harder for me. That's why, Julie, I try to make every Pokemon speak English if physically possible. That way, you can understand what they want and what they're needing, or what they want to say to you or do. But anyway, guys, I'll see you for another video. Bye bye.